Philippines is something I did. I did it for 7 years. I have no regrets for doing it. In fact, I found it thoroughly enjoyable. I found it gave me a broader view on life. I found that you learn to understand and appreciate people more. You also are less prone to BS from people. You find a lot of guys are full of nonsense and rubbish, but over time, it's not only that you get used to it, you don't let it bother you. You know, when somebody who's talking, you know, like nonsense, whatever, you just leave them to it. It's just not worth the hassle. Which made me a much more laid-back person, to be honest. It's because you focus on what you need to, not what you don't need to. But I also learned to budget a lot more, because when I first went out there we had a very limited income. As we built up different ways of making money, what I found from that was that you can live on a very small income if you have to. It's not comfortable, but you can do it. But also, as you grow, you can actually help more people. Because for me, it was always about the family. I don't function as a person, I function as a group. I can function as a person, obviously, but I prefer to function as a group and help a group and get the group to function as a group. No me. I hate people that are self-absorbed. And it worked well for us. I mean, I don't even know how much money we made over the years, but if you looked at what we built on our blog and stuff, you would see that the amount of stuff that we built, bought, constructed, developed, there's no way I could do that in the UK, because the stranglehold of tax in the UK is crippling. Because the UK system has too many people sitting on working people's backs to expect to be carried through life. Philippines has a similar problem, but in a different way. The people abroad are supporting a lot of the economy and families directly. It's not a welfare state, but what it is people sending all their money from overseas to keep things afloat in the Philippines. Which also, you end up with similar problems to the UK, where you will get people who just sit on their backsides, and then you get other people that actually want to do something. Economics is very similar. But I recommend living in the Philippines. I think if you're somewhere between 25 and 50, if you haven't experienced other countries before, the Philippines is a good place to start. I would also say, if you're a frequent traveler and stuff, if you haven't been, go there and do something you don't normally do. For example, buy a motorbike and tour the country. Do stuff that is a little bit more out of your scope normally. The reason being is the Philippines is more open to you doing whatever you want. Getting a motorbike license is extremely simple. At the same time, if you kill yourself, it was nothing to do with me. Because the roads are dangerous, but I love riding my motorbike out in the Philippines. It's one of the most freest things I do. There's nothing like it. I love it. Now, what else can I say? The weather's great. The natural disasters are a bit concerning more recently, but at the same time, I don't think they're gonna get any worse. But what concerns me is, from a personal point of view, I want to move my family to a country that doesn't suffer with typhoons and earthquakes. Just for a peace of mind aspect for myself. But it wouldn't stop me going back to the Philippines as a guy or with my wife. But long term, I think my family are better off in Europe for education and other stuff. But the Philippines has so much to offer, and for a short-term trip, it's well worth doing. For a long-term trip, you need to have a regular income. I don't recommend having under $500 a month, and generally I wouldn't recommend under $1,000 to $2,000 a month if you are used to a Western standard of living. And I've had people say to me before, you know what, I live on $500 a month. And I'm like, okay, yes you do, but you don't have the same standard of living I do. You live a very different way. I keep a cash pot for medical emergencies, for example. I have a 4x4, I have a motorbike, I have 6 apartments, I have a house that we're just about to finish the construction of. That is not the average expat's expenditure or income, but for somebody used to a certain standard, you're going to have to spend money in the Philippines to maintain it, otherwise you're going to have to adjust your standards. But I would live in the Philippines again at some point. It's a beautiful country, people are great. I've never had problems with Filipinos. I've had the odd argument with taxi drivers and stuff, but to be honest, it's nothing compared to what I've had in the West. So, I can't grumble about any of it. The Philippines is an amazing country. If anything, I wish I'd travelled more. I'm looking forward to travelling more of the country. But once my kids are in school and I can sneak off for an odd month here or there, I think I'm going to be road tripping. So, but get your backside over to the Philippines and give it a go. Thanks for watching.